Okay.
There's done.
There's nothing really wrong with this wheel stud, but let's say you screwed it up because you were NASCAR or because you were whatever. You need to change this wheel stud. This is convenient because we've got it already off the car. And this guy's practicing tires, so he's doing a good job. But let's say you want to get off the car. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to drive this stud out. We're going to make sure this is out of the way, okay? This is how I'd recommend it. Can you do it with a hammer? Yes. If you're going to do it with a hammer, I recommend a brass hammer. The brass is soft. The brass isn't going to damage the stud. However, that's pretty tough. This is really easy. Ready? I'm just going to line this air chisel, really air hammer bit up right to the center. I'm going to work it really slow, but you got to be careful here. Okay, that's one. Now let's pretend that we weren't going to do it that way and we wanted to do it with the hammer, like, you know, you're in the backyard or whatever, in the driveway or stuff. Nice brass hammer will be perfect for that job. Now we're going to try to hit it really square, or even make it worse. Let's say that you don't have a brass hammer. You could use a lug nut. It's going to ruin this lug nut, you understand? So if we put this lug nut on here, bam, it's going to cave the whole thing in. Well, chances are you probably wrecked your lug nut already anyway. So if you change the stud, you want to change the lug nut. But let's do it like this. That one's out too. Now, this would be damaged if you go to get your new stud. Probably what's going to happen, they're going to sell you the wrong stud. So make sure you match it up before you go to put it in. Here's all that holds the stud in. These little serrations right here get kind of drawn up into this hub, and if you look in there, there's matching spots, so there's a little bit of taper. Now when you go to install the new one, stay right in that spot. You need to pull your new stud in, then you need to give it a little turn like this, and make sure it's kind of in like the same spot. You'll feel it. Now yeah, you can drive this in, it's going to tear a new spot in, but then it's going to be prone to breaking loose and then spinning inside the hub. And if you ever get a wheel on with one of the ones that have broken free from the hub and it's just spinning, that's a nightmare. So, two ways we could do this. I could try to hammer it from the back, but if you're on the car, you're going to have very little access right there. You're going to hate your life. So here's what we're going to do as if we're on the car. I got a stack of washers. This is the real basic way. They make nice installers. These washers are big enough to fit over the stud, and they got some room here. So we're going to take those, we're going to take this lug nut, and spin this lug nut on. And at this point, as we turn this lug nut, it's going to draw the stud in. You see how there's a gap right here? It's got a light, anybody? Bam! See that gap? We need to close that gap up. If you don't have that gap closed up and you try to tighten it up and there's some looseness there, and as it goes down the road, that lug nut is going to become loose, and, well, you're probably not going to have a wheel fall off for one lug nut, but you really don't want that to happen. So, take the ratchet. Here's what we're going to do. Good job, light man. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to try to tighten this. And I'm keeping my finger kind of on the bottom just to make sure it's not spinning. And it's not. It's already kind of bitten where those serrations, those teeth are. Those teeth are already bitten into the hub. So now this is the easy part. I'm just tightening it up. Like, let's see that gap close up. Alright, I'm closing it. Get nice in there, right? I'm closing it up. I'm closing it up. Just drawing it in. Now, when it feels tight, I just go nice and tight, but ultimately, when we go to torque the wheel to spec, this came off a RAV4, so that's 76 foot-pounds, we're just going to make sure it torques fully. If as you're torquing it, it seems like it's not getting any tighter, that's probably because it's drawing the stud in. But that one is pretty much seated, I would say, wouldn't you? So now we're going to loosen this up. There you go. That stud is in. If it looked a little bit too recessed and there's still a gap, problem.